Hey, ASOS Malik here, back with another YouTube video, and in this iteration of me reacting to something on One Piece related, I built the worst pirate crew ever. And this is by the one and only, the GOAT, the best to ever do it, the Yeagerists. So with that being said, let's check it out. Hopefully it's not too bad, because Yeagerists has been known for some very bad takes and bad opinions. But today is not going to be like that, for sure. So that being said, once again, let's check it out.
Ship and pick the absolutely worst character pirate crew in One Piece. Okay, I'll go through each role on the ship and pick the absolutely worst character for that.
Who's the worst?
And by the end of the video, we'll be left with the most dysfunctional crew you've ever seen. Even the worst crew in One Piece needs a ship. But the thing is, most pirate ships in the show are actually pretty good. Now, of course, I could just choose Luffy's first ever ship, but I don't think that would be fair, since that was just a normal boat Luffy decided to use for pirating, and it isn't an official pirate ship. I personally think that the Bardo Club is one of the worst ships, because aside from looking silly,
dude, that ship is The ship is The ship is massive, okay? There's no way it could be that bad if it's that big. Because if it's that big, you can fit more things on it. Like more cannons, more ropes, more anchors, more crew members, more, are they called Jolly Roger flags? Yeah, more of those. I don't think that's bad. That's a good thing.
It also feels fragile, kind of like it's made out of plastic. And although it is pretty bad, even this ship is incredible compared to the ship I chose for our crew.
What? Where'd you get plastic from? Yo, Yeagerists, it's not even a minute in, and you're already wildin'. That's insane.
Which is Blackbeard's ship. No, not that one. I mean the first one. Yeah, that's much better. The ship is literally just 4 logs and a flag, and it was destroyed to pieces not even 5 minutes after it was introduced. Pretty bad, I can't lie. It's absolutely the most stupid, most unsafe, and most unreliable ship in the entire series, which is exactly what we need. Now it's finally time to start assembling our crew, which will consist of 10 members in total. And for starters, we need a cook. Someone who can keep the whole team going by making nutritious meals. So let's see who would do the absolutely worst job at this. For example, Streusen has a devil fruit that lets him turn anything into food, which sounds really good.
If I had that fruit in real life, I'll have my own, like, let's just say if I was on One Piece with this fruit, I'll have like a mobile version of Raising Cane's. Bro, that'd be the best thing ever. Like, to have like on the go caniacs or box combos, or, you know, cane sauce on deck. Bro, that'd be the best ship ever. No lie.
Good on paper, the problem is that his food tastes pretty bad.
Struggling.
So this is a World of Warcraft hardcore randomizer. All your abilities and talents are random, and you only get one.
However, I don't think that the bad taste alone is enough to earn him a place on our crew. So, how about Big Mom? She surely knows how to make a few dishes, but the problem is that she would only make sweets. Not like that matters, because she eats them all herself anyway, leaving nothing for the crew. And although that would be pretty bad, do you know what's even worse than a cook who starves their crew? A cook who poisons their crew. And there's one person just like that, our boy.
How do you cook that bad? That's one thing I don't understand. So there's this one guy in my Discord community. His name is Shrimp. And Shrimp makes some, like, I want to say A+ to S- tiers of food. And I think he's like, you know, just getting started too. And with Luffy, he's been alive for, I think he's like 17 years old. So with that being said, how can you cook that bad when you have a longer life experience, when cooking is not hard whatsoever? Like, you can't even make basic noodles, Luffy. Even I could do that. Back when I was in my mother's womb, I could probably make better food than what Luffy can. And I was like negative years old. Like, that's insane. Got a hairball. Wait, give me a second. I'm gonna edit that part out.
Boy Luffy. He showed us how horrific he can be in the kitchen on multiple occasions. Not only is he an extremely inefficient cook,
like this. It was like chicken I had earlier today, but it was like okay, of course, no, I want to say no chicken jokes. All right, it was like chicken. It was like the rubbery part too. I think it's called the gristle or something like that. And a piece of it came back up. So yeah.
Seeing as he spent a week's worth of supplies to create a single meal, but the dish he made turned out all purple. And I mean, just look at this, and tell me it wouldn't kill anyone who ate it.
It would.
There are still 9 roles on the ship left to cover, and let's continue with the sniper. Choosing the worst sniper is tough, because even the worst one could still get a lucky
the worst sniper in One Piece is, isn't it Van Hogger? It's definitely him.
Shot, so we need to make sure that doesn't happen.
Definitely him.
One option would be to choose Kobe because he'd probably be too scared to pull the trigger and kill anyone. Another great option is the officer of the Don Quixote pirates, Corazon, as he's just too clumsy and would probably accidentally drop the weapon each time he tries to shoot. Or in the worst case scenario, he might even shoot himself. Brook would be another tragic sniper because, well, he doesn't have eyes. But I don't think any of these characters are bad enough to be the sniper of our crew.
He can still see. What?
And there's one more character left who might just be the worst of them all. You see, Vanderdecken completely relies on his devil fruit to do all the aiming for him, and he can hit anyone as long as he touched them.
Bro, Diddy Decken does not need to be anybody's crew regardless of what his thing is. Like, let's be for real. Diddy Decken has nothing going for him. Like, not even close. I don't know. That's probably why he says like, gonna be like the gunslinger or whatever, but no. He's...
Do you realize how ridiculous this ability actually is for a sniper? In order to hit anyone, Decken would need to walk all the way up to the enemy, high-five them, then walk all the way back, and only then could he shoot. If this doesn't sound like the worst possible strategy for a sniper, I don't know what does. A navigator is someone who chooses the path the crew takes and
Zoro
navigates them.
He's gonna put Zoro
naturally,
for sure.
A bad pick for this position would be someone like Fujitora, since he wouldn't have a clue where the log pose is pointing due to being blind. And although that would be pretty funny, he is a marine, so I can't include him in this video. Now, I could sift through hundreds of pirates to find the worst possible pick for the navigator, but come on, we already know who this position is reserved for. Zoro always manages to get lost. He's so...
Yo, I was like, why is my goat there? Why is the goat of anime sitting in the right side of the screen?
Already know who this position
I was just
is
like,
for. Zoro always...
Why is the guy that solos One Piece on the screen? And I was confused. I'm just kidding. He doesn't solo. Though he has the highest chance out of like non-broken enemy characters. Or like out of the big three, actually I lied. I think it's crazy because Ichigo slams. This one only cross first. No, I'm just gonna stop.
He's so bad at directions that he would literally go through an
But I'm just saying,
come back
2,000 clones, they would have a hard time.
Through the exact same alley only seconds later.
Whether have observation
Man,
or
not
not,
even Shenron
still
can
gotta
give
beat
this
the
guy
clone.
a sense of direction. As a navigator, Zoro would lead the ship into the most dangerous weather and be like, I'll cut the tsunami, I'll cut the tornado, which may have worked once, but don't push your luck, Zoro. But picking the right musician for the crew may be the toughest challenge so far, as all of them are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
For example, Brook can play multiple instruments and also sing well, which is completely opposite of what we're looking for. Uta is like the best musician in the world, so she's also a pass.
Remember that one scene?
One
I think this was in Thriller Bark when I think it was what was his the son's name in not Thriller Bark, oh my goodness, in Whole Cake Island, I think his name Prometheus. And his ship was burning like, oh nigga. Like that was so funny. I don't know why that came into my mind. Oh, I think I'm oozing. What the flip? Why did I put on my hand? Okay.
sang a rap song together, and even that sounded way too good for our crew.
A rap
if
song?
I wanted to find someone who would be the absolute worst musician in the whole story, I'd have to look a bit out of the box. And after some thinking, a perfect character comes to mind.
Who?
So, rather than picking some random guy who just can't sing and call it a day, wouldn't it be much better to pick someone whose singing would cause chaos amongst the crew? And that someone is Pika of the Don Quixote Pirates. As soon as this guy starts singing, he would immediately get laughed at by everyone, which I'm sure would lead to a lot of fights between him and the rest of the crew. And also, let's be honest, having Pika sing on your ship every single day would be unbearable.
It would.
4 done, 6 more to go. And if the crew already seems bad to you, prepare yourself because it's...
He can't do math. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeagerists. You're slipping up, man.
It's gonna get much more disastrous than this. Since the brawls between crew members would be a daily occurrence for this team, they would of course need a great doctor to treat them. Just kidding, because we're looking for a doctor who will make everything even worse.
Who's a
Doc
bad
Q is a
doctor?
solid option because he's clearly not that good of a doctor, or else he would have cured himself. Also, his devil fruit can only turn people sick, not the other way around. Another really interesting choice would be Frankie, as he'd probably just want to turn everyone into cyborgs. Does your hand hurt? Let's replace it with the metal one. You're losing a lot of blood? No worries, we'll just fill you with cola. And although this would be absolutely hilarious to see, there's one character who would treat his patients even worse.
Caesar?
You see, the only thing Caesar Clown knows is experimenting on people and creating weapons. So just imagine what would happen if you gave him...
I mean, kinda. I feel like if Caesar actually wanted to try to heal somebody, like with his science, he definitely could. There's no way he couldn't.
an entire crew.
What? Okay. You know what's crazy? For those that watch my streams, I just did I recently did a sponsorship with Star Rail, and I didn't finish the sponsorship. Uh, yeah, so I kind of ruined that opportunity. It was a decent bit too, but not no more because I didn't fulfill a requirement. It's an evil world we live in.
Of people to treat. I bet he would take the opportunity to do a couple of tests on them and inject them with God knows what, which would probably leave the entire crew dead in less than a week. Looking at the crewmates we've chosen so far, it's pretty obvious that the ship will be constantly in terrible condition. So, who will be the unlucky shipwright tasked with repairing it? Well, first of all, I think any giant would be terrible for this role. You see, the ship we chose is pretty small, and if someone strong like giants tried to repair it, it would probably just break apart. Another person who'd be a really bad shipwright would be someone with anger issues like Big Mom or Kaido. Just imagine after genuinely trying their best to repair the ship but failing, they just start punching and breaking everything around them.
Yeah,
however, if we want a shipwright who'll do the most damage to the ship by far, then the best choice is obviously Corazon. In his flashback, he showed us that he can't do a single thing without screwing up and often catches himself on fire for no reason. I bet he could find a way to accidentally burn down the entire ship or make it explode.
This crew's looking really strong right now. Let me go back 5 seconds.
Fire for no reason. I bet he could find.
Like, you have Caesar, Pika, Corazon, he kind of sucks. And you got Luffy and Zoro. Diddy Decken, he's not gonna do anything, but it's looking stronger than Straw Hats right now, so.
Way to accidentally burn down the entire ship or make it explode in a matter of hours. But before Corazon manages to do that, we'll need someone to pilot this piece of junk, and that's why we need to find a helmsman next. Now, being a helmsman is a hard job to screw up, because you just have to listen to the navigator and steer the wheel, which is not all that complicated. The problem is, the ship we chose for our crew doesn't even have a steering wheel, so the job of the helmsman is just adjust the sail.
How do they travel the seas with just a sail? That doesn't even make sense because you can't control where. I mean, you could like just turn it, but without a steering wheel, that doesn't make sense. Like, imagine trying to drive your 18-wheeler without a steering wheel. How does one do that?
And move the ship that way. Anyway, firstly I thought about making a deaf character the helmsman, as he'd be absolutely useless and wouldn't be able to listen to any instructions, but One Piece doesn't really have any characters with hearing problems. But then it hit me. Who's even worse than a helmsman who can't pilot a ship? A helmsman that intentionally crashes the ship. And there's one person perfect for this job. Roronoa Zoro. Now, before you ask, yeah, Zoro is already a navigator of the crew. It's pretty common that one character fills multiple roles on the ship. For example, Usopp was a shipwright and a sniper. And before Jinbei joined, other Straw Hats steered the wheel. Just imagine Zoro filling these two positions. He'd first be able to—
They're gonna be so cooked. They're gonna end up at the all blue by accident. I mean, no. Zoro, I wouldn't trust him with anything that's vehicle related or navigation related for a good reason. He's gonna end up on a whole different planet. Keep away from that.
Decide exactly where the crew would go and then immediately turn the sails and go there. It would be a total disaster. Before we choose who will be the vice captain and captain of this crew, let's first fill a role that no crew can do without: a pet. As far as pets go, I see 3 pets that can make this crew even more.
Okay, I'm stop pausing.
The first one is Richie the Lion. Even though Richie acts like a kitty most of the time, he is no stranger to attacking his own crewmates, although in sleep.
Another contender is Momu, the pet of the Arlong pirates that acts tough but easily gets scared of people stronger than it. So I bet it wouldn't think twice about turning on its own crew in favor of someone stronger. But at the end of the day, it's just too weak. So even if it betrays the crew, it's not like it would matter that much. However, there is one pet that would make the crew's journey much harder: the giant fish Ankoro. Ankoro is the pet of the flying pirates, and I chose it for the funniest reason. You see, this fish really loves eating ships, meaning if it got hungry and there weren't any other ships around, it would definitely take a bite or two out of its cruise ship, which means even more work for poor Corazon. With pet covered, we can finally fill the 2 most important roles, and you'll never guess which character I picked for these. So what exactly is the responsibility of the vice captain? Well, the most important thing is that they should be loyal to their captain and always ready to give their life.
Like a second-hand man.
So when you reverse these 2 things, does anyone come to mind? The one possible—
When you reverse it, what comes to mind? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I genuinely have no idea.
choice would be someone like Doflamingo or Crocodile, as these guys wouldn't serve under anyone and would probably even try to assassinate the captain so they'd be in charge. However, we could also go a completely different route and just pick someone who would be completely useless, like Manjaro, for example, who's the vice captain of the fake Straw Hats.
The
and although I
two-piece
really wanted to
pirates.
put him as the vice captain, as I thought it would be absolutely hilarious, there's actually one more character who's just the complete
Blackbeard?
opposite of what vice captains should be. That
Yeah,
someone
that's
is
fair.
Blackbeard, a guy who wouldn't be loyal to anyone and couldn't care less about protecting his captain. On top of that, we also know that he's fond of killing his own crewmates, and I think he's a perfect character to send this crew into
And so the opposite of that for a captain, you would have to go with somebody like, I want to say Buggy wouldn't be too bad. There's a lot to think of. There's so many characters in One Piece. Who would be a bad captain, dude? I don't know. There's just way too much.
total chaos. And finally,
Actually, no, I'll say Brooke, because you know Brooke's gonna ask every woman on his ship, "Let me see your panties." And if you don't show me, you're off the ship. So I think that's fair.
captain, a person responsible for leading the crew,
I think that's
someone
fair.
who looks out for them and whom everyone respects. And if we put those words in reverse, we get Buggy.
That's
this
what I
dude only
said.
cares about getting himself away from danger and would throw anyone else under the bus to
That's
achieve
so
that.
true.
Also, he likes loaning money from other people and never returning it, which means he and his crew would constantly be on the run from various debt collectors. However, believe it or not, there's one reason
What
why
was bro's name?
Buggy
Oh,
isn't the
John
worst
Wick.
captain
I was thinking Keanu Reeves and Most Critical. I was like, who was his name? But it was John Wick.
in all of One Piece, and it's
Okay.
that his crew would be relatively safe with him, as he would avoid any strong opponents by a mile.
That's true.
And we don't want that. We want this crew to fall apart as soon as possible, and there's no better character to do this than
Useless
Kid.
Mid.
Now, even though he cares about his crew and knows how to
Useless
be a
Kid.
captain, he loves going after the strongest people on the seas, even though he stands no chance against them. He's also really stubborn, and even though he lost a hand in a battle against the Red Hair Pirates, he still decided to attack them again, which led to the complete destruction
very
of his
smart.
crew. So yeah, Kid is undoubtedly the only character worthy of leading this disastrous group.
Bro, this crew's in shambles. Not a law reference.
Of his crew.
But, like,
So,
look
yeah,
at this.
Kid is undoubtedly
Actually, it's pretty. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
the
This crew is extremely powerful. Like, genuinely, it's strong. Okay, aside from Diddy Deccan and Croissant, you have Pika, which really strong. You have Caesar, crazy double fruit. You have Eustace Kid. Now, unless you want to hate on him, he's actually pretty strong. Then you have Blackbeard, and you have Zoro and Luffy. That's like this team right now will sweep the current Straw Hats, like without a doubt. I'm not even kidding. But yeah, hey, will this crew work?
only character worthy of leading this disastrous group. But did you ever wonder what the
Nope, I don't. Let me guys know what you guys think would be the weakest or worst crew in One Piece. I think that what he made wasn't even that bad. It was like, well, on paper it looks good, but in reality it'd be chaos. It'd be hell on earth. But yeah, let me guys know what you think about this. When you see more videos like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time.